Double or Nothing, Noche de los Grandes, Clash in Italy. It has been a huge week in professional wrestling.
And I went to the Eliminator, the IPW Eliminator on Saturday night, and I've got all your details.
And guys, you won't believe it. I'm actually not mad that Becky lost the Intercontinental Championship.
What?
Who are you? Episode 37 of That Sweet Pop starts right now. Hello everyone, I'm Dion McCracken. He is Brad Lewis. She is Courtney Coburn, and we have got a lot to talk about in this episode of the pod. And I think we're going to kick off with you, Court. Let's get straight into it. Streamers are being copyrighted all over the interwebs. What's happening?
Mm-hmm. So it's been a topic of conversation in the last couple of weeks. A lot of some of the bigger wrestling content creators have been noticing their accounts have been targeted in terms of videos have been getting copyright, and a lot of people have lost their accounts. Some of them have been reinstated. It's mostly happening over on Instagram, and now it's kind of funneling its way over to TikTok, and unfortunately I have fallen victim to this. Now, from what I understand, it's a third-party company that is working on behalf of WWE, and they're basically just scanning through the app looking for the copyrighted content, which is more than likely the video footage that you are using at the bottom of your content, because obviously we're not paid to use it. It's not our content. They're claiming it as copyright. And while I completely understand, it's just a little bit heartbreaking because I do love posting my reactions and I love having that sense of community when I put them out. And so I've had a couple of strikes on my account. It was mainly from the ones that I posted last week from my Saturday night's main event. They all got claimed by WWE. So I've completely privated all of my reaction clips. So the account is looking a little bit bare, but that's okay. So moving forward, I'm just slightly changing the way I do them. So I'm either going to have just the reaction clip with the audio and just me reacting to it, or maybe like a photo at the bottom just to add some context as to what the segment is that I'm reacting to. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just a little bit like, what are we doing this for? Why are we doing this? And also when you think about it, WWE is still using reaction clips in
100%.
Their own content. And so it's just really confusing as to kind of what the parameters are, where we're actually able to explore and what we're actually able to do. So as a creator, it's quite confusing. It's quite tricky, but you have to adapt with the times. And it's also happening with NRL as well. So it's not just happening within the WWE space and with TKO, but yeah, it's definitely quite tricky to be making content at the moment. You don't know what's going to get picked up with those searches, and if your account's going to be okay. So yeah.
I saw they copyright struck Conman, who's a funny dude to watch on social media, and then they used him in a promo the very next week.
Yep.
And that to me is in poor taste, right? So and yeah, like have a strict rule. And it's like, and stick with that rule. And all you guys are doing is you're bringing more eyeballs to their product, right? Like your watch alongs are awesome. Conman's great. All the Wheezy's good. Like you're just bringing more eyeballs to wrestling, and that's we're a community. There's not many of us, and I can see your frustration. And I think for all streamers out there, WWE just needs to come up with a blanket rule. And this is the problem when you get third party people involved in things like this.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think it's also a problem because I think WWE believes that people like myself are actually monetizing these, when I don't know if a lot of people know, but actually Australia and New Zealand, when it comes to TikTok, we're not a part of the creator rewards program at all. We don't actually make any money from our videos. I do this simply for the love of the game. And so I can understand why countries in America and all over the world where you can monetize, they might want to pull that content down because you're directly profiting off of their content. But as you say, Brad, there just needs to be a blanket statement. And That Sweet Pop exclusive, NFL Films reached out to me months ago asking to include one of my reaction videos in the latest season that's coming up of Unreal. And when this is happening, it makes me quite apprehensive. It's like, well, you want to use this when it benefits you, but then how am I able to continue doing this moving forward, and what does that look like? It's really murky waters at the moment, and as we say, no one really knows what's going on. And it's happened in the past before a couple of times where they've kind of copyright striked videos. I think it happened after WrestleMania 40, and then they kind of stopped, and then they started again. So it's just, as you say, it's confusing. They just need to figure out what they want to do. and find a way to communicate that to people so we know what lines not to cross.
And on a side note, I did see Tony Khan at some point, or the person who looks after Tony Khan's social media, posted something on the lines of all watch-along streamers are welcome to AEW. And I think that's a great move from Tony. Like, he's capitalizing on bad press, and man, roll with it. Like capitalize where they don't. And I think this is just something, it's like secular in the media, guys. And like, I think eventually WWE will cotton on that this is a bad publicity move. We've seen them do things in the past and then they've stopped doing them. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of months down the track, once the word gets to the people that it needs to get to, then then this might hopefully be the reins, pardon the pun, Roman, maybe loosened a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the point. This is a corporate juggernaut with multiple arms and tentacles on the end of those arms, where arm A doesn't know what the heck arm B is doing. So as you say, when the right people understand what's happening here, potentially there is going to be some form of compromise. The problem I've got with it is people like Court are promoting WWE at no cost to them. Now, I understand protecting intellectual property. They must. They've built this brand. They must protect their intellectual property. And Court, as you say, look, if people are monetizing off it, there is a strong argument there. Maybe you go ahead and use the content. Please don't monetize. Otherwise, then we'll have a problem. But no one is consuming less WWE because someone is streaming reaction videos and having a few clips from SmackDown. WWE's own YouTube have these massive highlight packages soon after the shows come out anyway. So if there are eyeballs coming off TV, the YouTube WWE channels doing that. Again, I understand the point, though. If they're monetizing the YouTube channel, that's a revenue stream for WWE. If it's being monetized by creators, arguably there's some revenue coming away from WWE. But let's be honest, and that juggernaut, it's barely going to buy a cup of coffee, right?
Would you have a percentage of the people that are watching your watch-alongs are actually watching the show along with you? Like, I know some people just watch the watch-alongs to get a gist of what's happening, but the watch-along that I spent with you a couple of weeks ago for Saturday Night's Main Event, it felt like everybody was watching the show as well. So, it's just a community of people getting together to watch pro wrestling. Like, it's frustrating.
It is, and like I said before, it takes out the community element. And for me, whenever a big moment happens, for example, CM Punk returning at Survivor Series a couple of years ago, my immediate thought was, I wonder what my friend thinks of this, my friend thinks of this, and my other friend thinks of this. And I can go and find out because they've posted their reactions. And it kind of, I don't know if it's WWE wanting to control more of the narrative and control more of the public scrutiny that's out there in terms of kind of what they're feeling the backlash is like. If you are taking down people's content and not actually allowing them to react, you're not allowing them to have that voice. I could be wrong with that point, but it makes you question, like, why are they going to all these links? Do they not want people to be able to vocalize their opinions and express how they feel? Do they want the echo chamber to just be how they feel about what's going on and not allow for feedback and criticism and improvement? It's confusing, it's tricky, and it almost feels like you're just walking on eggshells at the moment because you just don't know what you can and can't do.
I hear what you're saying. That may be a bit of a somewhat cynical view, though, because this feels very much directed towards say what you like, do what you like, just don't use our video. But the point for me is how many people watch a clip that you've created or Wheezy or Con or Santi, all these people have created and might have missed the show, see the clip and then go, holy shit, I've got to buy this PLE. How is that factored into the equation? It's not. It reeks of corporate legal bullshit and overreach, and they're hurting the very product that they're trying or wanting to grow. So I'm very glad that Tony Khan has said, all are welcome here. Take advantage of it, man, because we might see more creators that are pushing AEW more. And look, when I contracted for WWE, everything was about to get radio interviews, get on the newspapers, get on TV. That's gone. It is all about creators. They need to be buttering these people up because that is where the audience is nowadays. So it's backwards land to me. It's backwards land, but there you go. I guess we'll have to keep an eye and see what comes of it. I do have another gripe, though. If we're finished with that gripe, I have a gripe.
He's back with
his
his
like
gripes.
A regular segment.
It could be. I'm becoming a grumpy old man.
Dion's gripe of the week.
Yep.
And it's you two. I've got a gripe with you two.
I've done nothing, bro.
How long did we record for last week? Hour and a half?
Yeah, it was a
when
great
were you
record.
guys?
It was great. Haven even featured on the show. She was lovely. She was great, and we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, then maybe she gets involved in this gripe as well, because why did no one tell me I had a hunk of pie in my tooth? It was a good pie. It was worth it. It was a fat bastard pie from down in Invercargill. If you haven't had one, you got to get your mitts around a fat bastard pie. All of the clips that we put out this week, big hunk of pie. I can't unsee this big hunk of pie in my teeth. I thought we were mates. I got
to be completely honest with you, dude. I just didn't see it.
I don't look at people's teeth when I talk to them.
No, I'm not a teeth person.
I can't say that's something that I do, and I can't say that's something I am going to do moving forward. But yeah.
Although you do have a great set of chops. Not just me saying it.
I think it is just you saying it.
Making me insecure. Don't do that.
I guess the point is, brush my teeth before we start filming.
That's what I do before I film.
I get it.
Always make sure.
Smart. It was a learning moment for me.
Hey, Dion, do you mind if I just quickly start with the local game, so to speak?
Go for it.
Had a really awesome experience at IPW in Freeman's Bay on Saturday night with the family. It's the first IPW event that me and the family have been to this year because timing just hasn't worked out for us with IPW this year. So I was trying to catch up a little bit on storylines, but overall a really, really good show. Great main event. Shout out to my boy Nico Bell, who works in this building here at Entain, and Jake Sheehan for an amazing, fast-paced, high-energy match at the back end of the prelim card. And I thought those two guys were really, really good. Jake Sheehan, man, there's just something about that guy that everything he does is so believable, and he's right at the top of the food chain when it comes to pro wrestlers in this country. And the Eliminator, which I know, Dion, is something that is very, very close to your heart, dating back many, many years ago. It was another really good showing. I don't think they've missed on an Eliminator since I've sort of started following IPW in the last 5 or 6 years. Great match. Horace did the Shawn Michaels card of coming out number 2 and lasting all the way to the end.
Did he?
And Will Stone for me was the star of the night. He caused the elimination by mistake of his tag team partner Alex Savage, and he was doing the old road dog spot, Dion, where he just grab onto the bottom of the rope and hide himself in the corner away from everyone. But Will Stone, fantastic. They were the last two in the ring. Horace gets the victory, and at fans and IPW announced through the ring announcer Steve-O that fans bring the weapons. I think it's in August, Dion. It might be July.
July 11.
July 11. It will be for the New Zealand Championship. It'll be Jay Rilla versus Jake Sheehan, the number 1 contender, and Horace, of course, who is going to cash in his contract, announced in what is going to be, I think, one of the best triple threat matches in New Zealand pro wrestling history, potentially.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. Those really are 3 of New Zealand's best professional wrestlers at the moment. I'm going to head down for fans to bring the weapons. It's been a while since I've been to an IPW show, but I was very happy to hear Horace got the win. He was my pick going into it, to be fair. So yes, we'll see what happens if fans bring the weapons. If you haven't experienced New Zealand professional wrestling, please head along July 11. Those tickets will go quick. That place will sell out. Fans bring the weapons is always one of the most popular matches in New Zealand professional wrestling. Very good. Let's crack into Clash in Italy. Clash in Italy. How good are European crowds? How good?
So good.
So hot. And on paper,
Mexican crowds.
We'll get to that. Or New York crowds for AEW, to be fair, but we'll get to that as well. And on paper, the Italian crowd were treated to a WrestleMania-esque card, I thought. When you look on paper, all of these matches could have, and some were, belonged at WrestleMania. The green shirt guy and the blonde fella, I don't know his name, how good to live that life. I would love to travel the world and be front row at every WWE PLE. That would be the life. I don't think I'd ever get sick of it. I don't think I'd ever get sick of it.
Apparently, those two guys paid for a special entrance at WrestleMania this year. They got to walk out with the
They
commentator.
did. Yeah, saw them. Yeah,
That's insane.
Yeah,
they did.
Like,
I remember last year as well.
Won the lottery about 30 years ago and has just spent all of money on pro wrestling.
A lot of disposable income there. Yeah.
I don't know, but I remember there was a video floating around from last year's WrestleMania, and he was sitting in the ringside box where the announcer sits, and he was ringing the wrestling bell.
Oh, he was the
so
he's
made
timekeeper.
money. And the only reason I know of that video is because somebody caught me and Lockie McIntyre when we got sent to WrestleMania in the background and sent it to us. And I was so focused on green shirt guy ring the bell, I didn't even notice I was in the video.
Were you like, why are you sending me this video of green shirt guy being a timekeeper?
I
That's
was
cool.
like, I know that he's like really cool. And he also got to make pasta with Ethan Page and Maxine Dupree because that was one of the priority pass package deals that they got to do.
Man.
Can you
Everything
imagine
is for
you say
sale.
that you got to make pasta with Maxine Dupree and all ego Ethan Page?
And one thing I will say, just like a concern I had, I saw someone posted like a confrontation with him on social media. Leave him alone.
Yes. Yeah, of
Like
course.
just leave him alone. Like he's not a media personality. Like
No,
just
he's-
let him live his life. Like you
Mhm.
don't, but just because you see him on TV every couple of weeks, just leave the guy alone. Let him live his life.
Yeah.
All of these opportunities that people get around WWE PLEs, making pasta, riding on Cody's bus, I don't know, helping Rhea do her makeup or whatever they're selling nowadays. WrestleMania 5, you got to go on a 5K fun run. That was it. 5K fun run.
And meet the
How times
And
changed.
there's your WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Mr. Fuji jumps in a taxi and gets across the line. How times have changed. Cody Rhodes versus Gunther kicked this one off because ESPN first hour free, baby. In the US, of course. Gunther looked great. I thought he's in some of the best shape of his career. He got in the best shape of his career for the World Heavyweight Championship. Then I think he might have enjoyed the high life there for a little bit, but he was in tremendous shape. I thought this match was good until the finish. So Cody Rhodes hits, I believe, his second crossroads of the night. And even before Gunther protested that his foot was underneath the rope, it felt like it was a bit of a flat finish. We weren't quite at a crescendo of the match. It sort of just happened. And I get the point. Gunther's going to get his rematch. It protects him because he didn't really lose, although he did lose. And if we suspend disbelief, Cody hitting that second crossroads in the middle of the ring should, by all accounts, result in the end of the match. But to me, Cody came off weak in this one. He came off really weak. It hasn't been a great post-WrestleMania for Cody Rhodes. This is his first PLE. He had a good match with Ricky Saints. He had a good match with Sami Zayn. This is his first PLE match. I believe he might have defeated Gunther on the European tour at like a house show.
Yeah.
But this match was really disappointing. What did you guys think? Brad, let's start with you.
I have gripes. First of all, I feel like maybe Sol and Becky should have opened the show. If you want to give the ESPN audience, give them a definitive finish, and that match had a definitive finish. And one thing that I really dislike about WWE booking more so than any other company is they use a PLE to tell a story for the next PLE.
Yes.
Don't do that, man. Like that's like they need to get out of it. And Triple H is really guilty of that as part of his creative. He uses a PLE to book to the next one and like use Monday Night Raw for that. Like these guys could have had a match on SmackDown or something like that, or Saturday night's main event could have seen this finish. This sort of thing frustrates me because these Italians paid some good, whatever the Italian euros, I'd imagine it's euros. They paid a lot of euros to be ringside. And I don't like that finish. It doesn't do great for anyone. I said on this podcast a week ago, guys, Gunther should not lose again until you're making someone. And I still stand by that. I think the finish was horrible. I think Cody's in trouble in terms of fatigue, like not his fatigue, but audience fatigue. And outside of the entrance, which gets a big pop every time, I think people just now want to see that man fight from the bottom, fight from behind, because that's what made Cody connect with all of us in that 2-year run where he was the hottest guy in pro wrestling. I'm not talking about his looks. I'm talking
we know
about
what you mean.
Yeah, we know what you mean, pal.
I'm obviously a big Gunther fan, right? I think he's one of the best in the world, and I think that title is ready to change hands. And Gunther, to me, is the right person to hold that title until you want to make the next guy. And I don't know who that's going to be on that side of the roster, but frustrated with that. And now Gunther has to win the rematch. Otherwise, he's the one who looks supremely weak. And that's the trap that they're falling into. I think we'll talk about it in the main event because now I think Jacob Fatu is now in that same spot. And Gunther has to win this match. He has to win the rematch. He has to, unless they go in a different direction, have Gunther have some sort of side quest on the way, potentially. But I just left this match, guys, feeling really frustrated and ripped off's not the right word, but just flat. Like I was like, really? Is that the finish you're giving me? Come on, guys, do better.
Yeah. Where were you at with it, Court?
I think a way to sum up this whole pay-per-view in terms of the results is just safe. A lot of it didn't feel very consequential. You look at the card and you think to yourself, well, they could go this route by doing this with Cody and Gunther. They could give us a complete swerve with Roman and Jacob. And obviously a lot of fans had been asking for, something to happen with the women's IC title. I think as soon as that finish happened, I thought I was the only person in my watch along that caught it, but then I started to see comments rolling through saying, "What the heck was that? What the hell was that? What the hell was that?" And as you say, Brad, it's a finish that, yes, it's going to continue the story moving forward, but you should have been using SmackDown in the weeks leading up to it to plant those foundations so that that story could have had that big crescendo. But instead, it actually sucked the wind out of my sails. I was like, what is going on? Have I missed something? And the fact that Gunther was obviously selling that he was pissed off about it either is 100% true that he was pissed off about it, or he's playing along with the angle. I just don't understand why WWE sometimes can't just be like, throw caution to the wind. We're going to risk something, and if it doesn't work, that's okay. At least we can say we gave it a go.
Great.
In this situation, it would have been having Cody take a clean loss to Gunther, because the conversation we had about last week, me and Brad specifically, were really pushing that point of, if Gunther loses, where does he go from here?
Yeah.
And now that's a reality. Where does he go from here? And Dion, you might know a little bit more about maybe booking and wrestling and how they can maybe improve his situation and make him feel like a big deal again. But like, he's just lost to the biggest babyface in the company. And you're to tell me that somebody who retired Goldberg, John Cena, and AJ Styles, and already has a career of his own, being the longest reigning UK NXT champion.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? I just felt so like, am I missing something here? I don't know.
Especially when, if in the following match, Dion, you have similar kind of finishes with the leg on the ropes and stuff like that. Like, you got to talk to each other out the back, producers, whatever. But I agree. I'm now interested to see how you feel it from a booking standpoint.
Yeah, well, look, I think there's a very strong argument that, yes, we do have a Gunther that can defeat these legends and retire them, but he can't take down the quarterback. He can't take down the WWE champion, which by all accounts should be the most difficult person to defeat on the planet. Notwithstanding, Obafemi damn near needed a space laser to take him out today. So there's a strong argument for that. But I very much understand where both of you are coming from as well. If you're building this guy as the career killer, you almost feel like he must be at the point where, like an Oba or like a Brock, he can take anyone down at any given opportunity. I think more now than ever that Gunther is going to walk away with the WWE Championship at the end of this. I think, like we've said, this is a bit of a means to an end. This is building to a greater story. I don't know what that will be, though. Cody missing the foot underneath the rope, how does he react to that? Is it like, oh, well, read it in the paper, sunshine, that's what happened? Or will he be so disgruntled that he wasn't actually able to defeat Gunther that he agrees to whatever stipulation in the rematch? So more than ever now, I would like to see Gunther take this championship. And I don't get the Gunther hate. When this guy came into the main roster, he was the darling of the professional wrestling world. Obviously, things can change, in a split second, especially with the IWC. But he is so good as a heel. He is such a great throwback. There is nothing like him in WWE. I think he'd make a great WWE champion, would thoroughly deserve it. And I guess time's going to tell whether it's this time around or if Cody goes through to SummerSlam.
It's just frustrating because it's just rinse and repeat with a lot of what we're seeing. And basically, I think Brad's just summed it up, is you're using pay-per-views to build to the next pay-per-view.
Yes.
And I think maybe a question that we can go back to at the very end of the show, or just even have a full-blown episode dedicated to this, is, does Triple H take too long to tell stories? Because there are so many examples that I can think of off the top of my head that storyline has been started, people get excited for it, and then it gets dropped as if it wasn't there to begin with. Yeah. Oh, that story was never a thing, but fans had interest in it. And I just think it's just getting really frustrating when you have moments like this where it actually would have really lent into storylines so well for Gunther to beat Cody. And you're going to have people go ahead and say, well, Cody's reign is so boring. Cody's a boring champion. This is the same thing every single time. Maybe take a little bit deeper and actually see that there was somebody who was ready there to take that title off of him, but someone else decided it's not the right time. And as you said last week, Dion, we need to keep Cody Rhodes as the face of the company, doing the radio interviews, doing the TV interviews, but just that caution to the wind risk factor isn't there. Yeah. And I think that's why the match didn't feel exciting in the end, because we were like, okay, cool, we have Cody for however long until they take the title off of him. And then it raises the question, who's going to take the title off of him?
He doesn't need the title to go on Jimmy Fallon, Dion, and to kiss the babies and host events and do the talk shows. He's still going to be the
but it
face.
helps.
Because Roman can do that too, and he's also considered a heel.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter face or heel. If you've got a face of the company, let them do that. You don't even know if Gunther might be a good face of the company because you're not giving him the opportunity to even do it.
Yeah, he cut a really good interview earlier in the week. He was on some radio show, and I thought I looked at the interview, and he was excellent. And yeah, I don't know. I just Cody doesn't need the belt. Do you know how I know this? Because the best run of his career was the 2 years leading up to when he won the title at WrestleMania 40.
Yeah,
he does not need the title, and
he's better in the chase.
Yeah, and like the public will get behind him again. They just will, and have him just feud with Sami Zayn till the end of the year.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Have those two in a blood feud. And maybe Sammy ends up costing him the title, which I'm down for, or in some way is involved in that, because like let Gunther go off and defend the title and have Cody in side quest again through another couple of Mania cycles.
Yeah. I think with these PLEs, the way that they're being booked, it feels like the tent poles are the storyline crescendos or the peak of the arc, which makes sense. And that the PLEs in between are kind of like a Raw and a SmackDown or a Saturday night's main event. But surely there's some way that these PLEs can be booked where we leave thinking, holy shit, I've got to rewatch that show. It was incredible. And we haven't had that with Backlash. We haven't had that with Clash in Italy. Surely it's a thing. Surely it's doable. That said, we have had some great matches on this card. Let's get to some more of them. Rhea and Jade, I thought was very good. Brock and Oba, I thought was very good as well. As was Sol and Becky, as was the main event. So this was a really solid pay-per-view. I think we were just missing just a little bit of a diamond somewhere in it. Maybe that's where our gripe actually lies. Let's move on to Rhea and Jade. Some really good sequences in this one, I thought, and Jade continues to impress me at least. I don't know how you two feel.
Career, Dion. Longest match of Jade Cargill's career at 17
Is that right?
Yeah.
She is progressing as a professional wrestler so incredibly well. How was that Razor's Edge by Rhea, where she just yeeted Jade Cargill? It wasn't a traditional Razor's Edge. And the reversals, I think there was a Riptide into the Jaded, back to a Riptide into a DDT. That was a great sequence.
I'm pretty sure that was a play on that reversal move that cost Jade the title at WrestleMania. So Rhea went to set up the same thing, but Jade reversed it, which showed me I'm not going to fall for that same trick again. I'm going to reverse this move before you can have that pinning combo.
And I think Corey Graves has quite possibly had the best 24 hours in the history of pro wrestling commentary. And in two different roles. How talented is this man? First of all, to get from Monterrey, Mexico to Italy in 24 hours. But no, like he was fantastic as a play-by-play caller on the AAA show, and I thought he was the star tonight. I thought he was excellent on commentary, and he really, really made the point to tell the audience that you were watching the evolution of the Jade Cargill in-ring character, and I thought he did a fantastic job of that. This was, I think, this was a harder match for her than Mania because there was more intricacies to it. It was and it was more physical. You could tell. I think she was pretty gassed at the back end of this. Like she did look like she was struggling on the Bouye segment with the trading blows. But I really love this match, and I think Jade Cargill may have found her wrestling soulmate in Rhea Ripley in terms of that bell to bell. I think Rhea is perfect for Jade because they both look like everything they do hurts, and I think there's more legs in this. Obviously, it looks like they're moving into Charlotte and Jade at some point. That's definitely a direction they're heading in, which is great because I'm down for that because I think Charlotte will make Jade look even better, to be honest with you.
You think that Rhea's her soulmate right now. Think about how the match could be with Charlotte and Jade, and that's not me trying to say to, lift your expectations and have them so high that they then get disappointed, but I'm just saying we know the in-ring caliber that Charlotte Flair has, and we've seen her have great matches with Rhea Ripley as well. So you got one half of that dance partner situation. If all goes right, we should have a really good match between them as well.
And Dion, I don't know what your opinion of this, but I think this is where Triple H and his team need to be given credit because they've really been patient with Jade Cargill. They have.
Yes,
and
they have.
her title reign was not good. Let's be honest, it wasn't good, but she didn't have a lot of sparring partners on SmackDown to start with. It's a heel-heavy division outside of Tiff, right? So, I think they've been really patient with her. She's working with the right person right now, and Jade Cargill will only get better now because I think she's probably now starting to find out what works and what doesn't. And full credit to Rhea, because I imagine Rhea has been extremely patient through this process of the last 2 or 3 months as well. And we know there's been stuff going on with social media behind the scenes and all that sort of stuff, but both of these girls really professional, and I thought the match tonight almost stole the show.
Yeah, excellent. Though I do need to use the B word, because B-Fab botched. She almost
I actually
ruined
haven't gone
this
back
match.
and seen it. I didn't see it at first,
It
and
was
people
so
were
bad.
calling it out, and I haven't seen it.
She
So
waited
I
too
need to
long,
go
man.
back and see what it
Well,
was.
Here's the problem. That the foot on the rope, notwithstanding the fact it was in the match before, which is crazy that we go back to back with these.
Back to back, yeah.
B-Fab was clearly, to grab Jade's leg and place it on the rope. She grabbed it she tried it with a couple of fingers. Have you seen the legs on Jade Cargill?
Yeah.
You're gonna need to get hold of that thing, pop it on the rope. To Jade Cargill's credit, she knew that this was not going as planned and moved her leg to the rope. That saved the match, because this would have shit the bed if she did not. It was such a bad botch.
Man. You can put the leg on the rope earlier, like just the referee then sells it that he only sees it at the back end of the 2 count.
Yeah.
Like and I knew that was coming because you saw her in the shot. I'm like shouting
gonna do
at my
something,
screen.
Yeah.
Grab her leg. And she
So
didn't.
Jade saved it, and obviously it came back around when Charlotte did the same thing at the end of the match. So can you imagine if this didn't come off? Things happen. She'll never make that mistake again. That said, the referee seeing Jade's foot on the rope made less sense than the other referee not seeing Gunther's foot outside the rope in the match before. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Let's just have no feet on the rope or anything like that. I feel like we need to give the referees an eye test. Do you see this foot on the rope in line 3 or no? And figure it out that way. Or just leave the foot on the rope trope for quite some time. Like, let's just take a break from it. It's clearly not working.
I would have been happy with Jade kicking out of that finish, and then Charlotte being the only foot on the rope part and costing Jade the match.
We wouldn't have known any different. So.
Like now Jade doesn't have that out. Like, you cost me. Well, your fans kind of cost Rhea first. So I would have been happy with Jade kicking out of that on a late 2.75. But it is what it is. And again, I just want to commend both women, because I thought this match was I think this was better than their Mania match, because it was a lot harder for Jade to work 17 minutes than 9.5.
Yeah, excellent.
And one thing I also wanted to comment on continuity-wise, following on from SmackDown, we obviously saw how B-Fab, Jade Cargill and Michin took out Alexa Bliss. A lot of people's questions when it came to this match was, why was Charlotte the only person that came out to help out Rhea? Because Alexa Bliss just got put on the shelf on SmackDown. If she had come out and helped, then people would have been like, well, they tried to take her out 2 days ago and clearly it wasn't enough to take her out because she's come back 2 days later. And then they also went and took out Charlotte after the show as well. So it looks like Charlotte's going to be taken out for quite some time as a result of getting involved with Rhea Ripley and the storyline.
I missed that. Fill me in, please.
So I think it happened on the post show. There was a clip that I saw. I didn't watch the whole post show, but there was a video that was uploaded to the YouTube channel where I think, B-Fab Michin and Jade Cargill took out Charlotte Flair post Clash in Italy.
Interesting.
So that's probably going to put a pause on Charlexa for a little bit, but I think it just also goes to show that there are repercussions and consequences for aligning yourself with Rhea Ripley. If you are, Jade Cargill, B-Fab or Michin, you are going to take out anybody who is, going alongside Rhea.
One question before we move on: is Blake Monroe next for Rhea Ripley?
She called her shot in the vignette. She said she was wanting to go after Rhea.
I am so down for that, man. I am down for that, because Blake Monroe can go. Like, she can go, and she loves wrestling Australians, so she can go. So I am.
Yes,
down
actually, I just realized what you said just now. It just clocked.
Yeah. Down for
my
that.
Goodness.
Yeah.
And Alexa, I think you pointed out when we were chatting off the air yesterday, Alexa's promo on SmackDown, how impressive it was, her calling out Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Love what they're doing.
You said it last week, Brad, and I said this to you guys in the message. people have forgotten how good Alexa is on the mic.
Yeah,
because whether or not that was a script or not, I left that being absolutely like gagged, being like, what was that? Was that rooted in truth? Is that
it feels like
storyline?
it felt like
Because
it to
the way
me.
that she did not stutter one bit when she said that. She said it with her whole chest, and she said it right in front of everybody. And then you see Charlotte and Rhea in the background just clocking it behind her, being like, you just absolutely read her for filth.
Well, it felt like Lexi Kaufman said it. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like.
She did so good though. I loved that.
Yeah, it was outstanding. Brock versus Oba. On the Go Home Raw, Oba said, this time I'm fighting to kill him. I don't like that. I don't like that
either, because it didn't happen, right?
Well, I don't want him to be killed dead.
Would have been a better word.
Yeah, the word
fighting to end him.
The word kill and murder and all, I don't think it's got a place in wrestling. And there's been this famed, list of words not to be used in promos, which obviously has been thrown away. And I know literally they don't mean they're going to kill each other. It's just it's not appropriate. I'm not a fan of it. And you can say, I'm going to end your career, like you say, Brad, or whatever. Let's kids watch this stuff. We don't need to be talking like that. Anyone who says Brock Lesnar is no longer relevant, by the way,
holy crap!
Go ask the crowd in Turin. This guy is a huge global attraction, and I'm still shocked, even though Court is not, that Brock Lesnar is back. 4 F5s to start the match. Oba kicks out. Man, I was hoping that was going to be the end of the match because I knew the IWC would lose their mind.
I wasn't, because it was giving me PTSD to what happened between him and John Cena at WrestlePalooza last year.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, you can't do this to Oba. It took 7 F5s.
Nice. One through a table. Here's some logic for you. Here's some logic. Brock Lesnar hit 7 F5s on Obafemi, one through a table. Therefore, no one on the planet can beat Obafemi, certainly no one on the WWE roster, other than a Brock Lesnar. Give Oba the title, let him have it until he retires. How does anyone beat Obafemi? 7 F5s. How does anyone beat Obafemi?
And you know he's getting that back in Minnesota. Like that is obviously where we're going for this. Now, Brock Lesnar is obviously controversial with the stuff that's going on away from wrestling right now, okay? I get that, and he's not everyone's cup of tea. But, man, he still has years left in him as a pro wrestler in these sort of 5 to 8 minute matches where he can just be physical and hit F5s and suplexes. I thought this match was near perfection. Didn't love the finish because I was hoping that Brock just could not beat him again. And then you can tell the story of, like I said last week, Brock comes out tomorrow on Raw and goes, I'm this close to beating you. I know I can. I'm ready to put my career on the line. You can have it if you beat me for the 3rd time. But clearly now, hopefully they do this pretty quickly and so Oba can move on with whatever. I mean, I know he's in the King of the Ring tournament, so that might muddy the waters a little bit. But I would have Brock open Raw tomorrow night. And I'd have Oba come out straight away and shake his hand and say, you beat me, I want your career on the line at Minnesota. If you beat me, I'll retire. And if I beat you, you'll retire.
So I have a quick question when it comes to muddying the waters. I think Obafemi could be the kind of person right now, because SummerSlam is 2 nights, if he hypothetically won King of the Ring, you have him retire Brock Lesnar the first night in the main event, and then you have him win the title from, say, for example, if he goes up against Roman Reigns night 2.
Yeah, and you've made him for the rest of the time.
And if that was to actually be the reality of the situation, I don't think I would know anybody on this earth that would be like, nah, Oba doesn't deserve it. Everyone would be like, that is actually a completely valid decision, and if that's to go the way that we want it to, that would be perfection for him.
It would. And again, I know I said this after Mania, Dion, before I get your thoughts on it. You've got to give Brock his flowers for what he's done for Obafemi. It would be a finish is sacred to a pro wrestler, right? A finish is sacred, and he was willing to go into that match and let Oba take 6 F5s on a kick out and then a 7th one for the finish. Imagine Jake the Snake having to hit 7 DDTs to put someone away in the 80s.
Never happened.
Hogan used to end people with one freaking leg drop, right?
It was devastating.
Yeah. Or Rock Bottom used to finish people. I think Brock has, in 20 years from now, We will look back on this much like we looked at the way that The Rock made Brock Lesnar in 2002 when he put him over at SummerSlam. We're going to look back at this, and I think when Obafemi is standing in that Hall of Fame class in 30 years' time, he'll be giving credit to Brock Lesnar for truly making him. And I think this was the best way to do it if you're going to have Oba lose, because like Dion said, no one else is beating him.
It's interesting seeing Brock's evolution over the last, when was that, 24 years ago when he took on The Rock at SummerSlam, where he's come from just being this behemoth, this man mountain, and didn't have much character to him, and therefore needed Paul Heyman. In the last 4 or 5 years, having a lot of character, the cowboy hat, coming out dancing, all that stuff aside.
Rubbing his pants too.
Being in the ring
Multiple
and
times.
just the facials of Oba kicking out and the disbelief in Brock Lesnar's eye. We never saw that 20 years ago. And of course, in 20 years, everyone's going to evolve a hell of a lot personally and professionally, but he continues to get better. 4 or 5 more years is an interesting call, Brad. And though I wouldn't doubt that, I also wouldn't be surprised if he has one more match in him. The problem is, will we believe it? Will we believe his last match is his last match? Because once bitten, twice shy.
I think Minnesota, mate. He's so connected to that state, that city, Minneapolis. Like, he's obviously represented that university. He's from there. He played for the Vikings in the NFL. I just think it makes a lot of sense for him, and I think Brock also respects the business of the business. If that makes sense, Dion. Like, obviously, kayfabe wise, that retirement has proved to be a massive swerve, which was great. You know, they swerved me, and they swerved a lot of the IWC. In fact, the only person they didn't swerve is sitting on the top left of my screen here, in the wonderful court. But I think Brock respects the business, and he just seems like the sort of dude that just wants to go away and never be heard of again. You know,
off-grid style.
I think his daughter's trying to make the U.S. Olympic team. For the Olympics in a year and a half's time. So, you know, he'll be focused on that too.
Yeah. Hey, congratulations to Sol Ruka, our new WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. Sol belongs in this spot. She's a real credit to herself, to the NIL program, to NXT, and the fact that she won this clean as well. I was expecting some form of shenanigans, but she won this clean. Becky put her over. We've got a new IC champion. Obviously, there's still some more stuff with Jessica Carr and Becky Lynch to come, and I'm sure Becky will find some minor controversy, easy for me to say, minor controversy, where no one else can see it. Court, I'm going to tread very carefully here, Brad. Court, hey, how you going, matey?
I'm all good, dude. I'm fine. I'm feeling good. Look, I think if Becky Lynch was to drop the title to anybody, I am so glad that it was Sol. Like, we all know the potential that she has. We all have seen her down in NXT. We've all seen her development. We saw the amazing performance that she had at the Rumble this year, and she just screams superstar. Yeah. And so I think it's a great idea for Becky to drop the title and put over Sol in the process and allow her to now be that true workhorse champion on the main roster. I feel like Becky had maybe outgrown the Intercontinental Championship because she's maybe held it for about a year, a couple of times removed. But I think it's time for her to move on to something else. And I think Sol's the right person to kind of take those reins and take that title and truly establish herself on the main roster. The second I saw Jessica Carr in the the referee spot, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, like, of course it's going to be her. I saw it and I was like, yep, nah, this is the end. And I knew it. And I think because of the storyline that we have going on with Becky and Jessica, we kind of know that if Becky drops the title, she's still going to find a way to keep herself on television, to keep herself relevant, and potentially have that match at SummerSlam with Jessica Carr. So I enjoyed the match. I loved it. I loved that. I think Becky tried to go for the Soul Snatcher as well, and then Sol tried to go for the Manhandle Slam, and they both couldn't get each other's moves down. But when Sol needed to hit that Soul Snatcher, she hit it to perfection and truly proved all those naysayers online wrong. All those people that say she can't hit her own finishing move, she needs to tweak her finishing move, or she hit it just now perfectly fine. And look, it's just won her the IC title. So yeah, I think that the story of Becky Lynch over the next 9 months almost writes itself. You can see her working a program with Jessica Carr at some stage, probably not winning the Royal Rumble. I imagine they'll have someone that they're really wanting to push from, you know, recent NXT alumni into that Rumble spot. Maybe Becky wins Elimination Chamber, goes on to fight for the Women's Championship or the World Championship.
the time feels right come WrestleMania for her to have a world championship
I think
around her
sooner.
waist.
I'm just been thinking about that while Court's been talking, and I've looked at the Queen of the Ring brackets, and she happens to be matched up against Liv Morgan in that. And I was just thinking, like, Liv versus Becky would slap as a feud, and Liv needs something. But look, I wonder if the jump for Becky to move into the world title picture is going to happen sooner than later, like because she belongs there. And I came out of this match with one very strong feeling, guys. I think Becky Lynch is the best female wrestler in the world.
Is she? Is anyone saying that?
Court's saying it. But look, Io Sky is the best bell-to-bell wrestler on the planet, no doubt about it. She is so good. Mercedes Moné is obviously excellent. Mercedes Moné is flawless in the ring.
Yeah.
But I think Becky Lynch is the complete package. She can get a 60,000 people behind her as a baby face. She can have 60,000 people want to boo her out of the building as a heel. She can work with pretty much any talent in the world, from Nia Jax to Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
I think she is the best women's pro wrestler on the planet. She is excellent. She makes people look good, and she's made Sol Ruka. And now let's separate them, have Sol move in another direction, whoever that is. Let's just wait and see. And I want to now see Becky elevated to the world title picture as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, not as soon as humanly possible. What do we do with what do we do with Liv Morgan? What do we do with Rhea Ripley? What do we do with whoever's coming after Rhea next? So yes, although Becky deserves that spot now, you're taking it away from someone else. And it feels, is there a pussycat there? Who has a pussycat?
There is.
Does Puss want to come on the pod?
No, because she's on the other side of the window, and she's just
Let's get the lawnmower again.
Oh
yeah,
my god!
she's just letting us know.
If it's one thing, it's another. It's distraction central where I live. I swear.
Do you think there's anything in Becky and Liv like being in the same match in this Queen of the Ring opening round? Like, I think it's a great foursome, by the way. Alexa and Chelsea are all involved in it. I can't pick a winner out of those four. And also, my mind's telling me, why the hell is Liv Morgan in the Queen of the Ring as I'm saying this? But hey, I'm going to leave that for Court once we get wrapping this pay-per-view. But yeah, I find it interesting that Liv and Becky are matched up together in that match. I think we're going to see something there between those two.
Okay, let's head to the main event. Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu. Roman retains. So I really liked how Roman worked on the hand to try and take out the Tongan death grip. It worked. It was a hard-fought win for Roman. I thought Roman looked much stronger in this match than he did in Backlash, although it took everything to take Jacob down. So what now for Jacob? Does Jacob serve Roman? We saw Solo and his MFTs there to end the PLE. There are a lot of legs left in this bloodline storyline. I really don't know where it's going to go from here. Thoughts, Brad? How is this possibly all going to play out? The bloodline, Roman, Jacob. What do we do here?
I have no idea. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I kind of felt this is probably where we're going to end up. Was Roman winning? There's just too much. There's too many matches and storylines to play out, potentially involving people like Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, that I want to see Roman Reigns in the next sort of 4 or 5 months anyway. So I think there's definitely some intrigue around Jacob Fatu falling in line, and maybe Solo being that little like demon in his ear, constantly telling him that the grass is greener over here. You know what it's like with me. You know that I love you. I love you like a brother. Roman, you're just going to be a patsy for Roman. So, but yeah, they need to be really careful. They need to be really, really careful not to make Jacob Fatu insignificant.
And I don't think they will. Great point. I don't think they will. There is a plan.
Maybe you can do it like I'm just trying to think of something like that in the past, right? Like, how there was always friction amongst people in the NWO, and the Giant broke out of the NWO because he couldn't get along with Hogan. Like, you need to be really, really careful, and they need to know what the end game of this is. Where does Jacob Fatu? What is his WrestleMania match? They need to know that right now. If everyone's safe, everyone's fit. What's his SummerSlam match? What's his Survivor Series match? And what's he doing at WrestleMania? Because they have to be really careful not to make him insignificant, and he needs to be a big part of this, whichever way he goes. Yeah.
I really like that Roman proved that Roman can do it on his own, as he did for all of those years. Although, of course, the Usos got involved from time to time. And even letting Jacob know during the match that Roman was the guy. Excellent match, I thought. I really enjoyed it. Court, what was your take on the match, and were you surprised by the result?
Yeah, I was really surprised. I think WWE does a fantastic job at really making somebody feel like they can be that person to dethrone, and then they don't. And it felt very similar to me like it did with the Gunther Cody match, how I felt like the result of it was very safe. I think that was exactly kind of what we experienced here. The match itself was really good. Flowers to Jacob. He went into this match with a back injury from a street fight at a house show a couple of days prior.
Of course, I forgot all about this.
So there was a lot of speculation and questioning if this match was actually going to go ahead. And there was a moment before the match actually started where you can see Roman Reigns was checking in on him, being like, "You okay? You all good?" Because obviously they're going to go to battle. The match was great. Loved there was no interference. I love how it was just the ability for those two just to really work each other in the ring. Obviously, there's a lot more coming out of this match post-win that we obviously have conversation-wise. Now you've got the Usos having to make sure that Jacob falls in line with Roman. Then you see Solo and the MFTs, which is essentially, the ghost of Jacob's past, coming in saying, hey, as Brad said, grass is greener on the other side. We brought you into this group. Would it be best for you to come back to us and come back to safety and security, and we'll treat you like you should be treated, like that Samoan werewolf we know will take down anybody in his path? Or do you want to go side with Roman, where you're going to play second fiddle and you're going to have to help him with all of his battles? I just really fear for Jacob, man. Like, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and he felt dangerous, he felt dominant, he felt menacing.
Yeah. Well, he still does. He just lost to Roman.
He does, but I just can't help but feel like the same Jacob that we've just seen this weekend is going to get watered down, and we're not going to see him for another 6 months until WWE decides to reignite him. And my question is, if they didn't put the title on him now, when are they going to do it? And we don't need to know that, but I just think this would have really been a moment in this pay-per-view, especially outside of the Soul Worker Becky Lynch match, that would have been a massive talking point online. And I just think they might have missed the boat. And like I said in my predictions or a video I did a while ago, like, you can have Jacob take this title for a couple of months, have him run with it, and you can find a way to put it back on Roman Reigns before SummerSlam if you've got matches booked for him. But I just feel like it's that situation of Jacob gets really close, really, really close. He's on the cusp of grabbing that title, and then it just gets taken away, and then he is back to square one. And it just, I don't know, I felt real deflated after that win, and seeing that essentially we are going back to the old bloodline that we do know and love, but we need something fresh for Jacob.
And the problem is, Dion, is I don't think Roman's booked now till after Night of Champions. Okay. So that is the issue. Like, hopefully he's going to be on Raw just to put a bow on the storyline. And then maybe you have, but Jacob's SmackDown technically, right? And the Usos aren't on SmackDown. Roman Reigns is not.
But if he's falling into line underneath Roman, it's a very good point that you make. Is it the Usos he has to fall into line with? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, because we don't know the answers. I'll tell you one thing, though. I am intrigued by it. I don't know what it looks like, but I think they can do a much more interesting job than they did with Tama and Solo, where there is this underling, or whatever you want to call him, who has some angst against the leader. Don't know what it looks like. I have faith. I have faith that everything's going to be well. I just kind of clicked to something, what I was thinking about. Do you remember when Randy joined the Wyatt Sick, or the Wyatt's group in, I don't know, 2017 or something? Barely.
And then he ended up being his grand plan to usurp Wyatt as the champ. So, I wonder, and they had really good friction paying off there between those two. So maybe you could do something like that. But the next,
put him in a triple threat, and where Jacob is going to be watching Roman's back, but then takes the championship. Who knows where it could go? So it was a good pay-per-view. It was solid, but I guarantee if we took a look the night after WrestleMania, we would have said, Gunther loses? That makes no sense. Oba loses? That makes no sense. Jacob has lost 2 matches to Roman? That makes no sense. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, this is where we are. I tell you what does make sense, though. MJF is your new AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
Preach.
What a hot crowd in New York City. I tell you what, they gave Turin a run for their money. This was a really, really great pay-per-view, I thought. To be fair, I've watched 2/3 of it. I have watched MJF and Darby Allin, including the near death outside the ring of Darby Allin, going for that suicide dive, his legs clipping the ropes, and him almost coming down head first. Nasty, nasty stuff. I thought it was a great match. Look,
just Darby doing Darby things.
Yeah.
Look, I tell you, I'll give Darby some credit because to me, Darby's kind of like the Mick Foley of this generation. Kind of. Not as lovable, but sort of. In that he comes from a hardcore background. He puts his body on the line. He does things which traditionalists would say, that's stupid. While you do that, you're going to kill yourself. And though I don't believe Darby Allin will be able to walk by the time he's 42, to his credit, as world champion, he has put on some great wrestling matches. He's been a fighting champion. The hardcore stuff has largely gone out the window. This was another good wrestling match. This had great storytelling. The side headlock takeover. I think Darby tried 3 of them to start the match. That was the move that, of course, he used to beat MJF for the World Championship initially. MJF hit a avalanche tombstone, and then the side headlock takeover for the 1, 2, 3. Really good match. From what I've seen of the pay-per-view, I need to get more AEW in my life, and I intend to in 2026. So, congrats to MJF. Brad, did you watch?
I did. Most of the card, missed a few things. Really enjoyed Cope and Christian winning the tag team titles. They pulled the 5-second pose out, or tried to, the following night on Dynamite, which was kind of cool.
I haven't seen that yet.
Those 2 boys, man, in their 50s, mid-50s, Uncle Adam and Uncle Christian. His first Jay, I think, is his name. Jay is Christian's first name. Those 2 guys still doing great things at their age. I think we're probably heading for something with the Young Bucks in them, and potentially the Motor City Machine Guns is the word on the street at some point in the next couple of weeks.
Maybe the New Day.
Their contracts are up.
I was going to say New Day.
And I wonder what they're going to be called, like TND or something, like the New Day, like TND. I don't know. Trying to think.
There'll be something
interesting.
And what's Kofi's name going to be? Because Xavier's going to be Austin Creed, right? Like, we know that. Like, but what's Kofi Kingston's name going to be?
But isn't that his legal name though?
What's that? Yeah, yeah.
I think so.
Oh, I don't think it is.
I'm going to Google it.
What's the Google machine, Dion?
We'll allow that. But yeah, AEW's tag team division is hot, and that was proof of it. There were some great matches in there. Will Ospreay continues to be an absolute freak. Jon Moxley is amazing. Darby Allin, it was a great title reign. I just don't see the point in it. Like, why did you take? But MJF's got his heat back, so that's great. And I think we should be heading towards Will Ospreay and MJF at All In, which is the biggest match they can make right now. I think Kenny Omega's probably in the mix too, though. I wouldn't count him out. I think it's the winner of the Owen Hart tournament that goes on, and I think we're not too far away from Mercedes Moné returning as well. So they're really heating up at the moment. AEW from a content standpoint.
And streamers can play their clips. So how good's that? Kofi, by the way, yes, Kofi is his first name. I'm not going to say his last name, not because it's rude, but
so he can just run with Kofi and Austin.
He can run as Kofi. I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada, great match. Yeah. How good for Takeshita to go against a legend like Okada and hang with him. That was such a good match. What else was interesting? Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
Jon Moxley, I never thought I'd say this. Jon Moxley is growing on me again. And I like the way with the Death Riders, the whole entrance in the back where they're always hyping him up. And I like the way that he's like Yoda at the moment. He's like an ex-hardcore wrestling Yoda. That's what he's doing with Will Ospreay. Did I just say, wait,
yeah, you did.
Jon Moxley is Yoda?
That's cool. And Will was really good in the post-match presser where he talked about what John's given him outside of the cameras in the last sort of 3 or 4 months working with Moxley in terms of some advice around probably what he does to his body, Will Ospreay, because Will Ospreay is one of the best pro wrestlers in the world, and the last thing I want to see that dude is have a career-ending injury. And yeah, his crowning moment needs to come in London. But AEW on fire at the moment from a wrestling standpoint, on fire.
Yeah. Hey, there's 2 more things that we need to touch on before we wrap up here. El Grande Americano Unmasked. All-time classic. What an unbelievable match this was. I'm so glad.
One of the greatest matches I've ever seen.
It was fantastic. I'm glad they had that amount of time. It did feel like AAA's a WrestleMania type main event for AAA. I think it was the right result. I think El Grande Americano has got to stay on. What's the new one called?
Wait, what?
Who's Ludwig?
I know who Ludwig Kaiser is, and I know who El Grande Americano is, but I don't know why people are like linking them for some reason.
I don't know. Something Ric Flair said.
who'd have thought Chad Gable was our Grande, the original Grande Americano?
Unbelievable. He is such a great wrestler. The guy is incredible. Great physique. He's got a great promo. Obviously, a great amateur wrestler. Look, he's short and he's got that working against him when you think about main eventers. But there is absolutely, it's absolute truth. Rey Mysterio, name another one.
Should be a world champion in AEW. Guaranteed.
Absolutely. And I'm 5'0", so I'm saying that with a heavy heart, but it's true. But there is no reason why a Chad Gable can't be elevated to the main event scene. Give me a reason. The guy's 40 years old. We've got people who are 44, 45, 46 that are in their primes. I think there's an argument that he could become a huge star in AAA, unmasked, now that he's built so much goodwill with them. But man, would I love to see a world championship run in WWE by Chad Gable. It'd be so well deserved. And I think there is a universe where that storyline makes sense. I don't think it's going to happen. But it would be fantastic.
I wouldn't hate them sending him to TNA for a world title run as well, just like what they did with Trick Williams, right? Like just to test the waters. What a tremendous match. Also, when do we start needing to talk about Mark Calloway, aka The Undertaker, as the Booker of the Year? Because AAA right now is so freaking good. It's amazing. Jeremy Borash also a big part of that booking as well. And our Grande Americano versus Dominic Mysterio at Triple Mania in the main event of night 2 is going to be otherworldly. Like it's going to be insane. And that match is going to be absolutely amazing. And I'll see a lot of people giving Chad Gable his flowers in the last 24 hours. And I'm not taking anything away from him because that is quite possibly the greatest wrestling match I've ever seen in terms of storyline. It was WrestleMania 40 vibes, right? Like it was
I was going to say that.
But my goodness, can our Grande Americano, the now Grande Americano, can that boy go? Yeah. Can that boy go? He also happens to be dating Ludwig Kaiser's girlfriend. Have you seen that? Like, I find that really interesting that his storyline, his storyline girlfriend is also real life Ludwig Kaiser's girlfriend. But no, man, like, I texted you guys and just said, I think like the word I used was perfect. And that's why we love pro wrestling. And I'm really glad that the IWC, despite the hate of WWE, has really, really like applauded this match. And Mark Calloway, The Undertaker, is getting his flowers too from a booking standpoint. The guy's on fire at the moment. I think AAA could quite possibly be the hottest pro wrestling promotion in the world right now, of the main ones, because every week I've been watching it, and this is why I'm a big fan of Corey Graves, because he's on commentary every week. Every week they put on great shows. And I thought the rest of the pay-per-view was great too. The Psycho Clown Pagano stuff was really cool in the tag match. And guys, the opening match between Laredo and Rey Fenix was crazy. It was crazy good. What a great pay-per-view. Our Vikingo, Dr. Wagner was great. I think Double or Nothing, and we may have just seen 2 of the best pay-per-views of the last 5 or 6 years within 7 days of each other.
Yeah. I do wonder how AAA fans, old school fans, feel about WWE coming in. And look, I never watched AAA before. Well, I've seen 1 or 2 cards. But they've come in, WWE have come in, and we've got WWE production, even the ring walk, there's the signature at the top of the show. Now we have a WWE cruiserweight, a WWE rostered individual, albeit Rey Fenix, as the cruiserweight champion. We've got the War Raiders, or are they the Viking Raiders, or are they the Viking Experience? I think that the War Raiders again as tag team champions. We've got Dom as the mega champion. I can't remember the middle tier champion, Latin American Championship, whatever it's called.
That was Dr. Wagner.
Yeah, and out AAA guy.
Vikingo won it.
I do wonder how they feel, because are the mid to lower card guys in WWE that are shipped to AAA and they're pushed in that promotion. I wonder if that leaves a sour taste in the mouth, or if they're just happy seeing their promotion elevated and so popular at the moment.
I think they were pretty happy that they got to see Rey Fenix in the flesh the other night, right? Like he's a AAA legend. He's been there before. And you know, like I've seen the pops that Penta gets when he shows up. I think Mexican fans just love really good pro wrestling, Dion. And I think Mexico's hot right now. CMML was one of the promotions of the year last year. Had like something like 37 sellouts in a row. Big crowd for AAA, and I think Triple Mania is going to be a huge success. It's at a small venue in Vegas for night 1. It's going to be at a big venue in Mexico for night 2. Dom versus El Grande is going to be the main event. I think that's going to be a massive success for them, and don't be surprised if you see a lot of WWE talent, the likes of a Damian Priest, like those Hispanic sort of background wrestlers sort of intertwined into that card around September when that's on. I certainly think we'll see Chad Gable back in action as well.
Yeah. Hey, one other thing coming up: the King and Queen of the Ring. Now, Court. I'm going to let you lead this because I think you're not too thrilled with it. We haven't talked about it, but the floor is yours.
I think Brad very much alluded to it before. Look, as far as I am aware, the King and Queen of the Ring tournament is built to give a contender for a championship opportunity at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So tell me why the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan is in the Queen of the Ring tournament. She has not had a match since the Raw after WrestleMania where Sol Ruka challenged her. She missed Backlash, she missed Saturday night's main event, and she was just spotted in the crowd for Clash in Italy.
Yeah.
Why have we put... And I get that she's in storyline, tried to be like, well, I want everything and I want all of this. That's cool. But I know that you more than likely want to have someone say, I want to challenge you for your title. I don't have an issue with Penta and Sol being in it because they could lose their titles between now and SummerSlam if they are to be the ones to win the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But the tournament concept is to give a champion a contender. Have I missed something? And that was the gripe that I wanted to bring up. I just don't understand how they are so creatively bankrupt with Liv Morgan and not having anybody to face her after WrestleMania, because as soon as they picked her to win the Rumble, they would have known who's on the roster that could face her, that storyline-wise would make sense.
Yeah.
And yes, a rematch with her and Stephanie Vacchia could be in the cards, but Stephanie's out with injury. You have a whole roster of women that could have challenged her for this title instead of just being like, well, we're going to put her in the backseat of the Judgment Day storyline until Stephanie's ready to go, and then we'll allow her to have her rematch. She could have faced Lyra. She could have faced Bayley. She could have faced Paige. She could have faced Brie. She could have faced Becky. She could have faced Io. I've already given you 6 matches that she could have had. And that's more than what WWE has done with her. And I just don't want people to go ahead and say, she's a terrible champion, she's a boring champion. Well, yeah, she's had nothing to do, and it's not her fault. But I just don't understand why the main issue I have is, why is the main champion in the tournament?
I can forgive her being in the tournament, I do understand, Liv went and talked to Pierce or whoever and said, look, put me in the championship because I want to take on Rhea. What I don't like is the King of the Ring winner getting a title shot at SummerSlam. I hate that. Because the King of the Ring was about elevating people in the mid-card, and elevating them doesn't mean that you get a main event shot at a championship at a tentpole PLE. I think it's taken away some of the surprise element. Brett in 93, Owen in 94, Austin in 96, Triple H, when was that? 97. Those guys, 99, Mr. Ass, 99?
Yeah.
99, Kurt Angle, Ken Shamrock.
Edge.
All these people that were elevated but weren't ready for a main event championship shot. So I don't like it. I don't like the SummerSlam shot.
So if I look at this, I agree with everything Court said. I think Brock was in a Rumble once where he came in number 1, and the whole thing was he was going to run through the whole entire division or the whole entire 30 and end up getting thrown out by Drew, and that ended up being your Mania match. But if I look at this and I see 3 Judgment Day participants in the brackets, and they're all being separated in the first round, I feel like we're heading to a Raquel Liv Morgan final. And I think Roxy's in there too potentially, but I think Roxy is my favorite to win the briefcase because of the storylines they're telling around here, and I think I want them to be really patient with that. So I think we could be heading to a Raquel Liv Morgan final, and Raquel's competing in that match to get the match at SummerSlam and just continue this. Because was it Liv, I think, eliminated Raquel in the Rumble, right? And that's never really
been able to talk about it.
Tell that story. So what this whole event does tell me is that Natalya is nowhere. Like, I'm looking at these brackets, and Natalya was really hot. She threw Becky Lynch out of the Royal Rumble after Becky was in for about 2 minutes. Right? And
where's Jordan Grace? Where's Blake Monroe? That would have been the perfect place to debut Blake Monroe in ring when we've seen nothing but video packages. We saw a backstage segment with her running into Chelsea Green last week. And then we saw a video package of her writing in her diary about how she wants to go after Rhea. She's wrestling on main event before SmackDown. It's not like they're not using her. Why couldn't you have put her in this Queen of the Ring tournament to be her debut match?
I assume they're also going to have these preliminary. I'm struggling with my words this week.
Preliminary.
It's all the paint fumes. I've been painting all weekend. The preliminary matches are likely taking place in Europe. So I wonder if they're just like, all right, who's floating about? We're in
here.
Maybe. There's definitely a little bit of storyline in the women's brackets, right? Like, you can see how that's playing out. Charlotte and Jade are drawn in the same group. You've got like EO involved with the Judgment Day. So there's some interesting and intriguing matchups. And obviously Liv, Becky, Alexa, and Chelsea is a hell of a way to kick it off. Looking at so my prediction, if we want to roll predictions, is I think Raquel's winning it, and she's main eventing SummerSlam against.
How does Obafemi not win it? How does Obafemi not win the King of the Ring? Well, he does.
He should be. He's my pick to win it. He's my pick.
How do they they got to protect Braun Breaker though, right? Like, you know, and I mean, there's a really interesting matchup here, guys. If Triple H, if you don't want to play it safe, Obafemi wins, Braun Breaker wins, and that is your semi-final matchup. I don't think they'll go that route, but yeah, just looking at these brackets. I think the favorites are Seth Rollins and Obafemi. I think we could be heading to Seth and Roman at SummerSlam.
I was just going to say that because we had that tease.
I think Seth is going to win the King of the Ring. Personally, it's something he's never won before. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. I think you're right.
So I think, and look, you can protect Oba. You can protect him in a fatal 4-way. He obviously ain't taking no pinfall. You know, and I think Braun versus Seth in the final makes the most sense, and Seth gets his win back at Night of Champions, and then moves on to face Roman at SummerSlam.
You say Oba needs to be protective. What if Brock takes out Oba?
Absolutely, 100%. That's happening,
and then that's how they get to that third match.
100%.
Yeah, and if this match is going to be on Raw tomorrow, then Oba's beat up. So he might not even, you know, like you know, and
he might not make the match.
And
he might
what I cannot wait for is some form of in-ring action between Carmelo Hayes and Penta in their opening match. That's going to be great.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. All right. Very good. Very good. I kind of feel like we need a down week. We just need some less shows for a little bit, little less thinking, because so much comes at you. I don't know about how your brains work. I kind of need to like sit on things for a little bit. Just give me a week of just Raw and SmackDown and Dynamite, and then we'll head into PLEs and everything else that's going on in the coming weeks. It's hard to keep up. And now MLW Fusion, I just see, is available on YouTube. So how do I fit that in? How do I fit in Impact?
And I think we had another announcement for World Series of Wrestling Court this week as well. Like more and more talent coming down these ways, including a pretty cool tag team.
Yeah,
we had the Inspiration get announced for it, and we had Buddy Matthews get confirmed for it. So Haven mentioned it into existence. She spoke about it on the podcast last week.
Yeah.
And a couple of days later, the video came out confirming his attendance at the show. I think, we've got some really great talent coming through, and there could be more announcements to come. But yeah, I think Mega Mania is looking pretty stacked. And as Dion says every single week, if you know, the only way they come back is if you sell out shows and you buy the tickets and you show your support. So yeah, let's make sure we really show up and show out for WSW.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, another big week of action. I'm going to go and put the paint away because, again, the paint fumes are clearly getting to my my verbiage. All right, folks, thank you so much for sticking with us. Another big week of action, I'm sure, coming up. We'll talk about it all next week. Until then, have a good one.